up, YouTube? It's been a while, I know. I apologize, life's been busy. In the last video, I put the bottom end together on the M52B30 Forge stroker build. And today, I'm not going to be showing you everything, because obviously I already have the cylinder head on. I already have the cams in. I had a little debacle with the camshafts. I bought a set of used S52 camshafts and one of them showed up damaged, but the seller was super cool. He was like, find another cam and I'll pay for it, and he did. So I had a follower on Instagram hit me up and he found a cam down in Florida where he lives. So I ended up buying that, had it shipped, got it paid for, everything. So good to go now. But flip you around here. Cylinder head is on the block. Can't see, but there you go. ARP head studs. Obviously S52 cams. Some custom cam timing blocks from Perry that he made specifically for me. Right now I'm just going through the timing procedure. And I've actually, believe it or not, never timed a single VANOS motor. I've only timed dual VANOS. So this is theoretically a little simpler, but I mean, I am not really a trained mechanic or anything like that. So I still have to watch videos and teach myself how to do pretty much anything, because I can't afford to have someone else do it. And I really don't want to. I like to learn this stuff. So at this point, we have, obviously the cams are in, got the cam gears in. So it's super important when you time these motors that when you put these cam gears on, when this is rotated all the way counterclockwise, you can see that bolt hole is right at the edge of this oval shaped opening, I guess you'd call it. And then the same thing over here, this gear is all the way counterclockwise. And then same thing when you come clockwise, this little mitochondria shaped looking thing is right at the edge of that hole, and then this one is at the edge of that hole. So this ensures that you'll get full VANOS travel. This might be a little different from like standard M52 VANOS timing, because the factory timing blocks, they sit on the back of the head flush like that, and then they hold this little cutout on the cam at whatever the OEM timing is. But with these custom blocks, the intake cam is advanced, and then the exhaust cam is actually retarded 12 degrees, which kind of seems like a lot to me, but apparently there are some pretty decent gains to be had. They're all mid-range gains, which should help spool the turbo faster, which that's what I'm after. Really just make this more enjoyable to drive. I want the biggest power band possible, and I want this thing to just like be able to light up the tires like a switch. Okay, obviously I skipped ahead a little bit. We got some more hardware on here. I'm just watching a video on how to do this and then doing it. The next steps, we have these loose, those are torqued, but these are still loose. I'm gonna slide our gasket on. Got a new L-ring gasket, but make sure it gets onto both of the dowels. We're gonna take our VANOS unit, slide it on halfway like that. Okay, so now that our VANOS unit is on the studs, we have to get this helical gear to align with the gears inside the camshaft, or I guess on the end of the camshaft. And what you want to do is line up these teeth with the cam in a way so that when you rotate this, the rotation of this forward set of gears pulls the VANOS unit in and seats it. Apparently, if you rotate this and it doesn't pull this in right away, these teeth aren't aligned properly. So it's kind of just like a 50-50 shot if you get it right. So I think feels like the teeth are engaged. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of pressure on this and then rotate this, not like that, maybe with this hand. Nope. So it rotated and it didn't suck this in at all. So pull that back out. That's disengaged. Try a different one. Oh, there we go. Perfect. That one went right in. So as soon as this started rotating that way, it pulled the VANOS unit in. Okay, so the dowels are on. Slightly engaged now. Go a little bit further. Now for the satisfying part, torquing these to 89 inch-pounds. One thing I've learned with these is to get yourself a nice, well, it doesn't even have to be nice, but like an actual 1/4 inch drive torque wrench. I have a cheap 3/8 drive torque wrench that I got on Amazon, and on one of my last motors I stripped all these studs because it was set correctly, but it just wasn't a nice torque wrench, and it wasn't able to go that low. These do not get tight at all. And then this one gets torqued higher, but I'm not sure, so I'm gonna look that up real quick. Okay, time to remove this dummy tensioner. This is just an installation tool. So you thread this in to the timing chain tensioner spot, and then this bolt will put tension on and tighten the chain. In its place goes this timing chain tensioner. This is a hydraulic and sprung style tensioner. I bought a new spring a couple years back when I did the M54 originally. So we're gonna reuse this. I mean, it's in decent shape, so why not? And then of course, a new gasket for it. It's just a crush washer. Sealing surfaces are clean. And if I remember right, it took a little bit of pressure to get this started. Okay, that's snug. Let's go ahead and get it torqued up. This uses a 32mm socket and gets torqued to 70 Newton meters or 50 foot-pounds. I like to come over to the front of the engine and just hold the crank pulley, because you're putting a twisting force downward on the engine like that, and I don't want to, put any more stress on those bolts holding this. This is already a huge boat anchor cast iron block, so I like to support the front of the engine while I do this. Not very tight at all. So now I'm going to torque these 4 front bolts on the cam gear and back these access plugs out. These are new and shiny. Can't remember how much they were on FTP Euro. Got them like a year ago, but they weren't that bad and they look nice. So 15 Newton meters on these. I'm going to go in a crisscross pattern, and I'm going to hold the cam with the wrench in the back. If I did everything correctly, everything should be torqued tight, shouldn't move. I'm going to pull this pin out from the tensioner and then apply tension to the secondary chain. And this should be timed. Now, take the wrench off of the cam, take our cam blocks off, and should be able to rotate this without anything bad happening. So there's 1 rotation, 2 rotations, and now we check to see if our timing blocks still fit. Kind of a snug fit, Perry. Okay, so you won't be able to see, but something is off. Let's see, we'll go to the back, it'll be easier here. So I might just have went a little bit past TDC. Let me check that, because these should be perfectly flush with the back of the cylinder head, and they're obviously not. So let me just do a quick double check. Pretty sure I know what I did. I tightened these before I pulled the pin on here, so this wasn't tight, and then I tightened it, and as soon as I pulled the pin out and there was tension, it might have moved the cam a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen these and then pull the pin out, apply tension to the chain, reset that cam because this one's flush now, this one's a little off, and then try again. Hey guys, Future Bob here. I'm sitting there on the couch the next morning editing this video, realizing and seeing all the mistakes that I made. I previously mentioned that the reason why I thought the engine didn't end up back in time was that I didn't have tension on this upper chain that you just saw me apply tension to. And while that might be a contributing factor, I believe the main reason why this engine didn't up in time is I mentioned that when I was installing the VANOS unit and rotating that secondary chain to kind of suck the VANOS unit to the front of the head, the intake camshaft actually rotated a little bit, and I didn't notice until I was editing the video. So I believe that's the reason why it didn't end up back in time. So obviously I put it all back together and realized that it was off, and I got frustrated. It was late at night, so I turned the camera off and tried one more time. I started from scratch and made sure nothing moved, and what do you know, it came out great. So obviously I didn't get that on camera, so what I'm going to do now is just cut forward to after I put everything back together and rotate the engine to check timing. All right, so we're at TDC at the crank. I just took the blocks out, but they were perfect. I got these all tightened up. Tensioners are in. Should be good to turn this thing over. Let's see, there's one rotation. There's two rotations. Let's see if our blocks still fit. Dang, dude. Perfect. So we are at TDC at the crank, and our cam blocks are perfectly flat against the back of the head. So call that a success. We'll do a few more rotations just for fun. It's so satisfying watching this. One rotation. And two. It's pretty cool. Go ahead and put these new access plugs in. Okay, we'll torque those later. I think I want to throw the valve cover on. So as always, new gasket set from Elring. And then this is something I'm super stoked about. So a while ago, FCP Euro announced they were designing and making these stainless valve cover bolts. For reference, this is what the stock ones look like. They're just, you know, after they get dirty, they look really grimy. But the stainless ones, ooh, that's nice. Oh boy. She's a little dusty from sitting. But dang! Golly, dude! That's a motor. So I'm going to wrap up the video here, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a teaser. I tried my hand at something new that I've never done before, and I'm super, super happy with how it came out. A month and a half ago or so, I decided I should paint the engine bay while I have everything torn apart and the engine out for hopefully the last time. And came out pretty good. So she's a little dusty because obviously this car's just been sitting, but this paint job came out so good. Laid so flat, you'd never believe that I did this with rattle cans. Put a lot of time and effort into the prep, like a lot of time. Did a lot of research, made sure it was warm enough in the shop, made sure that the car was warm, the metal itself, the paint cans were warm, and man, yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out. So next step, I guess, is we're gonna probably get the turbo manifold on, bolt the turbo on, and get everything on the engine that I can, and then I'm just gonna throw it into the car, and it's gonna get put to the side for a while because I have some fabrication to do for B Racing. I'd like to just get this motor tucked away, shut the hood, wrap everything up, and keep it all protected until springtime when I get to work on it again and get this thing running. So as always, I appreciate every one of you for watching. Give me a like, comment. I really appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.